Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lesson we're going to be looking at temporary instances of structures and how we can pass information per element into that structure to use it in different use cases. So this is quite a simple concept and it's quite a small lesson. So basically what we have on the screen at the moment is a Codesys project that has two structures in, a DUT product, which has just current value, process factor, process speed. They're not in relation to anything, they're just examples of variables that might be in this. And then we have a calculated product, which is a slightly different data set, but has some elements in that we could use in the original structure if we need to. So let's just have a quick look at what's actually happening in here. So I have an if value, an if statement. Sorry, that's the whole sort of PLC project. So we're basically saying if sensors are active, then use the real product data, which is gvl.product, and if the sensors aren't active, then using T product, which is still a DUT product, but it's an instance in this program. It's not the global data. Then pass information into that structure, which is then used in the check spec here. So we have a check spec here which is using real data, and then a check spec here that is using data that we've assembled ourselves into a structure. Now, there are plenty of reasons why you might need to do this. One of the key reasons, or the most common reasons, will be that you have a supporting function block or function that does something very specific to a type of data, and then you need to use that function block outside of its normal parent. I've used this example of flow meters before, but a totalizer on a flow meter, for example, if, for example, somebody said we want to use a totalizer to totalize something that's not a flow meter, but it's something that's an analog signal, and we want to totalize it every 1 second, for example. While the totalizer function block is great, it already does that for a flow meter because it looks at the flow meter data type, but we could pack information into a temporary flow meter data type to make use of that block without having to go off and redesign a whole new function block just because we're not using a flow meter. And this is a much sort of more simple version of that. So if our sensors aren't active, nothing is populating this GVL product. It's not in this code. This is just sort of hypothetical that GVL product would be packed full of information from our sensors. If the sensors are off, then we are going to drop to this one, which is a calculated product specs or values, and they will be used instead. So let's have a look inside product spec here. So we're passing information in, and this again is a very crude example of we're just processing that data as normal. Have a look at GVL, snap it to the side. Those are my two data sets there, and if I turn sensors active off, you'll see that we are now dropping down to this one. The reason check spec is saying that it's true up here still is because it's using the same instance of this product in spec function block, because I know I can't call both at the same time. I don't need a new instance of this information, but unfortunately Codesys will show the value even if it's not being called of the results here. So if I go ahead and make this sort of out of spec, so let's give it a very high value, you'll see that we are now turning off the in spec flag as a result of doing that, and that's using our calculated packed data. So this is a DUT calculated product, but we're using the information from this structure in a temporary DUT product here, so we can make use of this function block that only accepts that structure type. And then if I switch back you see that we're back in spec because now we're using these values here. So I just wanted to include this as a lesson because there are plenty of times where you will come across a scenario in a functional design specification where they say, we need to do this, and you think, I do that already, or something extremely similar already, but it's a support function block of another system or of another manager of some sort that only accepts a specific data type. Well, rather than reinventing the wheel, sometimes it's easier just to sort of shoehorn stuff into a structure that isn't related to what you're doing, but already has these building blocks assigned to it. And then a simple comment that states what's happening. We're doing this because of this. It saves you so much time because the structure, the logic has already been tested. You know it's going to work. You just need to populate those variables. So having a temporary instance of that in your function block or program allows you to populate that with information from multiple sources or another source. This each line here could have been populated from a different area in the program, or even over networks or anything like that. But we can still make use of this check spec or product inspect function here that is specifically designed for this DUT product structure. So download this from the resource section and have a play yourself, passing information in and out between two or multiple structures. And if there's anything that you need me to expand on, by all means, drop me a question and I will go through it in more detail.